I want you to picture a tree, an old and wise tree. It has lived through storms, watched seasons come and go, lost branches and grown new ones. But do you know what it never does? It never explains itself. It simply stands there, rooted and strong. That is the beauty of growing older. You no longer have to explain, defend, or stretch yourself too far. You have spent years being everything to everyone, holding families together, managing relationships, working hard, and sometimes even breaking yourself in the process. But now, this is your time to turn inward. Silence is not emptiness, it is presence. It is choosing carefully where your energy goes. Have you ever noticed that the older you get, the less you feel the need to argue? That is not weakness. That is wisdom. You do not need to prove every point. You do not need to convince everyone. You simply observe, nod, and move forward. There is peace in that. And when it comes to energy, you realize it is no longer unlimited. You now understand the value of protecting it. Not every call needs an answer. Not every disagreement needs your opinion. Not every event needs your presence. You are allowed to say, I need this time for myself, and feel no guilt. At this stage of life, joy is your responsibility, not your children's, not society's, not some old expectation you placed on yourself years ago. Joy begins inside you, and you owe it to yourself to wake up each day and choose it. Aging is not only about getting older, it is about reaching a place in life where you finally have the time, the wisdom, and the perspective to look within. It is a season where the noise of youth fades and what truly matters becomes clear. It is a time to pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself the questions you once pushed aside. Who am I now? What do I truly want? What do I need to let go of? For decades, life may have felt like a constant race. Building a career, raising a family, maintaining relationships, meeting duties, making sacrifices. You spent years giving yourself to others, often without stopping to think about what you needed for yourself. But aging offers a gift that many overlook, the gift of clarity. You begin to see the patterns in your life, the choices that shaped your journey, the lessons that were hidden inside struggles, and the moments of beauty you may not have fully noticed at the time. This is the season when you understand that you are not defined by the roles you once played. You are not just a parent, a partner, a friend, or a worker. You are a human being who has lived, who has felt, who has learned. Now, you get to decide how you want to live each day. Do you want to carry old burdens, or do you want to wake up with gratitude? Do you want to live by obligation, or do you want to choose joy? Aging is the time to give yourself permission to release what no longer serves you. Maybe it is the need to always be right. Maybe it is the need to be liked. Maybe it is the habit of explaining yourself to people who do not really listen. Maybe it is guilt, regret, or mistakes from the past. You cannot go back and change what happened, but you can choose how you move forward. This season of life invites you to be present with yourself, to sit in silence and listen to your own heart, to reconnect with dreams you once set aside, to enjoy the simple pleasures you once ignored. It is a time to grow peace inside you, to find meaning in small moments, and to trust that who you are is enough. Aging is not a loss. It is a deepening of understanding, of self-awareness, and of acceptance. And the more you embrace it, the more you realize that this is not the end of your journey. It is simply a new chapter, one where you finally focus on the most important person in your life, you. There comes a time when you realize that not every thought needs to be spoken, not every battle needs to be fought, not every opinion needs to be shared. This realization does not come from fear or lack of confidence. It comes from wisdom, the deep understanding that silence holds a power words often cannot. For much of life, we are taught that speaking up is strength. We defend ourselves in arguments. We fight to be heard. We try to explain our choices to people who may never understand them. But as we grow older, we see things differently. We learn that the loudest voice is not always the wisest. Sometimes the best answer is no answer at all. Silence does not mean weakness. It takes great strength to stay calm when you are provoked, to walk away from unnecessary conflict, and to release the need to prove yourself. There is a special kind of peace that comes from knowing you do not need to engage in every debate or defend every decision. You let your life speak for itself. Think about the elders you have met, the ones who seem steady and calm. They observe more than they speak. They smile instead of argue. They have learned that words once spoken cannot be taken back. They know that wisdom often lives in what is left unsaid. Silence allows you to step back and truly see people for who they are, not just who they pretend to be. It gives you space to listen, not only to others, but to yourself. In quiet moments, you hear your own thoughts more clearly. You begin to trust your instincts instead of seeking approval. You learn what truly matters and what is just noise. There is dignity in silence. When you choose not to join gossip, when you refuse to react to negativity, when you step away from pointless arguments, you are not giving up. You are protecting your peace. You are choosing to use your energy for things that lift you up instead of draining you. At this stage of life, there is no need to convince anyone of your worth. No need to explain yourself to those who do not try to understand. No need to prove a point to those who have already decided. Silence is not surrender. It is rising above. It is knowing that your time, your energy, and your peace matter more than winning a short argument. Let others talk if they want. Let them misunderstand. Let them create their own stories. You do not need to answer everything. Your calm presence will say more than words ever could. One truth becomes clearer with age. Energy is not endless. When you were younger, it may have felt like you could give forever to work, family, and responsibility. You stayed up late, woke up early, pushed yourself, and still kept going. But with time, you realize your energy, both physical and emotional, is limited. How you use it shapes your life. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It is necessary. Each day you are given a certain amount of it, and once it is gone, you cannot get it back. The way you spend your energy affects your health, your mood, your relationships, and your purpose. This is why it becomes important to be careful about where you invest it. Think about what drains you: constant complaints, endless arguments, obligations that bring no joy, stress that lives in your mind. These are not small things. They slowly steal your strength. Every time you stay in negativity or push yourself for things that do not matter, you give away a part of yourself. Not everything that asks for your attention deserves your energy. You do not have to join every argument. You do not have to explain yourself to people who choose not to understand. You do not have to say yes when your heart says no. Learning to protect your energy means learning to set boundaries, saying no without guilt, knowing when something is simply not worth your time. But protecting your energy is not only about avoiding the bad, it is also about choosing the good. What makes you feel calm? What brings you peace? Maybe it is sitting quietly with a cup of tea, walking in nature, reading a book, listening to music, spending time with people who lift your spirit. These are not extras. They are important. When you invest your energy in things that nourish you, you are not being lazy. You are being wise. Your energy is the currency of your life. Spend it on peace. Spend it on people who respect you. Spend it on moments that make you feel light inside. Guard it strongly. Protect it without apology. Because now, your greatest duty is not to please everyone else. It is to care for yourself. For much of life, we are taught that joy comes from outside. We chase success, relationships, money, and recognition. We believe that once we reach a certain point, happiness will finally arrive. But with time, we learn the truth. Joy is not something you find in things. It is something you create inside yourself. It comes from simple moments, from gratitude, from peace of mind. It comes from accepting who you are and where you are in life. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop putting your happiness on hold. You start enjoying what you already have. You begin to understand that happiness is not a destination. It is a daily choice. As you grow older, you become kinder to yourself. You forgive your past mistakes. You release old anger. You stop carrying the weight of what could have been. You understand that every chapter of your life had its purpose. Even the painful ones taught you strength. Even the hard times shaped your character. You no longer rush through life. You move at your own pace. You appreciate quiet mornings. You value honest conversations. You find comfort in routines that once felt boring. You begin to see that a simple life is often the richest one. There is freedom in this stage of life. Freedom from needing approval. Freedom from chasing what does not matter. Freedom from living by other people's expectations. You learn to live by your own values. You choose peace over drama. You choose truth over appearance. You choose yourself without feeling selfish. And in doing so, you become an example to others. You show that aging is not something to fear, it is something to honor. It is proof that you have lived, learned, and grown. So stand like that old tree, rooted, calm, and strong. You do not need to explain your worth. You do not need to defend your choices. You do not need to prove who you are. Your life speaks for itself, and in the quiet strength of who you have become, you will find a deeper joy, a deeper peace, and a deeper sense of meaning than you ever imagined. Nor is it something that can be handed to us by other people. True joy is an inside job. It is something we grow within ourselves no matter what is happening around us. If joy came only from success on the outside, then why are there people who seem to have everything and still feel empty inside? And if joy depended only on suffering, then why are there people who have been through so much pain and yet still shine with peace and calm? The answer is simple. Joy is a choice, not a destination. It is a way of living, not something that suddenly appears. One of the greatest lessons life teaches us as we grow older is that happiness does not come from chasing things, but from learning to embrace what is already here. When we are young, we spend our time chasing love, approval, safety, and perfection. But later in life, we begin to understand that joy was never in the chase. It was always in the moments we ignored, the quiet mornings, the laughter of people we love, the warmth of the sun on our face, the calm of a peaceful mind. Joy is not about what you own. It is about how you see what you already have. Two people can live through the same situation, yet one finds reasons to feel thankful, while the other finds reasons to complain. The difference is not in what happens to them. The difference is in how they look at it. When you decide to shift your focus from what is missing to what is present, from what failed to what is still beautiful, you unlock a kind of joy that no one can take from you. But here is the challenge. Society does not always teach us to find joy inside ourselves. Instead, it tells us to wait for it. Wait until retirement. Wait until you have more money. Wait until the right person arrives. Wait until life becomes perfect. But perfection is an illusion, and waiting for joy only pushes it further away. The truth is, you do not need anything more to be joyful. You only need to choose it. Does this mean life is always easy? Of course not. Pain, loss, and struggle are part of being human. But even in the hardest seasons, joy can still exist. It does not remove pain, but it can live beside it. You can grieve and still admire a sunset. You can face problems and still be thankful for small blessings. Joy is not the absence of hardship. It is the presence of light in the middle of it. At this stage in life, you owe it to yourself to stop waiting for happiness and start creating it. Choose to fill your days with what brings you peace. Choose to notice the blessings around you. Choose to release the idea that joy must be earned, and understand that it is something you already have access to. Because the truth is, no one else is responsible for your happiness. Not your children, not your partner, not your friends, not society. Feeling whole is an inside job, and only you can do it. The moment you truly understand this, you set yourself free. There is a quiet weight that many people carry through life, the weight of responsibility, the feeling that it is their duty to fix everything and everyone. For years, you may have been the problem solver, the peacemaker, the one who kept everything together. You may have spent your life making sacrifices, calming storms, and making sure others were okay. But as time passes, a powerful realization begins to grow. Not everything is yours to fix. Not every fight is yours to enter. Not every problem is yours to solve. Letting go of the need to fix everything is not giving up. It is understanding that people must walk their own roads, learn their own lessons, and find their own way, just as you once did. You cannot protect your loved ones from every mistake. You cannot stop every hardship. You cannot control how others think, feel, or act. And the more you try, the more tired and frustrated you become. There is an old saying that you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. This truth becomes even clearer with age. You can give advice, you can share wisdom, you can offer support, but in the end, people only change when they are ready, and some may never be ready. That is not your failure. That is simply life. How many times have you warned someone, only to watch them ignore you? How many times have you worried about situations that were never in your control? How many sleepless nights have you spent trying to fix what was never yours to fix? This is why letting go brings peace. It is the decision to release the heavy burden of trying to control outcomes that were never in your hands. Letting go also means releasing the guilt that comes with it. You are not leaving people behind when you stop fixing them. You are respecting their journey. You are not being selfish when you stop carrying other people's problems. You are choosing your well-being. There is a difference between helping someone and carrying them, and it was never your job to carry everyone's pain. The hardest part of letting go is accepting that not everyone will understand. Some may say you no longer care. Some may expect you to stay the same forever. But your job is not to meet everyone's expectations. Your job is to live in a way that gives you peace. At this point in life, you have earned the right to step back, to say, I care, but I cannot fix this for you, to offer guidance, not control, to love deeply without losing yourself. So breathe, release the weight, trust that people will find their way in their own time, in their own way. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is simply let go. There comes a time in life when you realize that peace is a choice, and one of the strongest ways to protect it is by setting boundaries. Boundaries are not walls meant to push people away. They are gates that allow only what respects your well-being. They are an act of self-respect, a quiet way of saying, I care about you, but I also care about myself. For many years, you may have put others first, answering every call, helping every time you were asked, giving your time, your energy, even your happiness, just to meet the needs of others. Maybe you were the one who held the family together, the one who showed up even when you were exhausted. But now you begin to understand something important. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Setting boundaries does not mean you stop caring. It means you start caring about yourself too. It means understanding that your time, your energy, and your emotions matter. It means knowing that just because someone expects something does not mean you must give it. Setting boundaries is not always easy, especially if you spent years putting others first. Some people will resist. Some will try to make you feel guilty. Some will say you have changed. But change is not bad. Change is growth. The people who truly care about you will respect your limits. Those who do not were never thinking about your well-being to begin with. So how do you set boundaries with grace? First, be clear about what you need. Maybe you need more rest. Maybe you need distance from negativity. Maybe you need the freedom to say no without guilt. Whatever it is, honor it. Your needs matter. Second, share your boundaries kindly but firmly. You do not need to explain yourself again and again. A simple, I cannot do that right now, or I need time for myself, is enough. You are not asking permission. You are stating your limit. Third, release the fear of disappointing others. You will never make everyone happy, and trying to do so will only drain you. It is okay if some people do not understand your boundaries. What matters is that you respect them yourself. Remember, boundaries are an act of love. They protect your peace so you can show up fully in the relationships that truly matter. When you take care of yourself, you are not taking away from others. You are making sure you can give in a healthy and lasting way. At this stage in life, you deserve to be surrounded by respect, care, and understanding. You have nothing to prove, no one to impress, no reason to sacrifice your well-being for the comfort of others. Set your boundaries with calm. Hold them with confidence. Never apologize for protecting your peace. Life has a way of teaching us what truly matters, often through long years of experience, moments of happiness, and seasons of pain. As we step into this chapter of life, we are given a rare chance to turn inward, to protect our peace, and to honor the wisdom that comes with age. This is not the time to exhaust ourselves trying to fix everything or everyone. It is not the time to waste energy on pointless conflicts or to seek approval from people who may never understand us. This is the time to let go of control, to release old regrets, and to stop feeling the need to explain ourselves. It is the time to realize that silence can be wisdom, not weakness, that not every argument deserves our breath, that choosing peace instead of proving a point is real strength. Our energy is precious, and we must choose carefully where we spend it. We must protect it and give it only to what truly feeds our soul. Most of all, this is the season to remember that joy is an inside job, that no outside success or approval can give us what only we can give ourselves.